name is Aidan Kearney,
known online as
Turtleboy, and is a senior editor for
TBDailyNews.com.
They call me
Dr. Turtleboy.
It's my preferred pronoun. Daddy.
What's up, Daddy?
Journalism Jesus. Timothy Kearney.
The one and only Turtleboy.
Turtleboy. What's up, Slick? The doctor is here.
This guy's a bad motherfucker.
That's quite the intro.
I've broken a lot of major stories. I've been doing it for about 11 years. I used to be a high school teacher.
Turtleboy has changed a lot over the years. I was once a blogger, but now I'm much more accurately known as an award-winning journalist, a satirist, and an activist. Boom!
They're screaming your name here.
You're the crowd daddy.
Crazy. People either love me or hate me.
Listen, Turtle, all right?
But either way, they're watching.
Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
Stop it. I'm never gonna stop. This fight's just getting started. Now let's get this party started.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Turtle Riders, what's going on? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Turtleboy Live, Friday night edition. Sorry about the delay. My kids are getting older. They're staying up later. Going to like fires up the street or something and staying up late. But that's okay. That's okay. We're good to go now. Anyway, welcome to a special edition here. Tonight, we're going to be talking all about the McKenzie Shirilla case. A case I've been following for years, quite frankly. I had no idea this documentary was coming out, and now it's coming out. Everyone's talking about it, and so we can't play any of the clips from the Goat Boy's here too. Nice, love Goat Boy. Dope. Nice to see Goat Boy here. Yeah, I can't play any of the the documentary stuff, but I can play other stuff, tons of stuff, and there's just tons of stuff here, so we got to get through it. It might be a late one. We'll see. So strap on. So I apologize it's starting so late, but I'm ready to go. Hopefully you guys are ready to go too. If you guys want to have your messages read out loud to the class tonight, click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat. When you do that, you can say whatever you want, pay whatever you want, and I will read your message out loud to the class. Or conversely, you can cash at me at $UncleTurtleboy, and we can do it that way. We got one here from Pete. Sends 5 smackaroos. It goes, "Hey, Turtleboy, first time Turtle Chat. I'm from the UK. I have not missed a live for the last 18 months. I was put to your channel by my partner and never looked back. I want to ask, is there a Turtleboy community in the UK that you know of? And if so, where can I find them?" It's online, brother. You know, I don't know anything about the UK. I know about Big Ben. I know he just keeps on ticking. He's a clock. He's a big old clock. I know about London bridges falling down. Hopefully not anytime soon. I know about the Channel. I know about that. About the palace. I know the king, the new king there. And I know the 𝗵𝗵𝗲𝗺 brother, Andrew. I know he's up to no good. But that's about it. That's about it. Let me just take a little poll in the doc. I'm going to take a little poll and see how many people have watched this. I'm just curious where we're at. Engage with your audience. Okay, start a poll. Have you watched The Crash? The doc is called. Have you watched it? I'm just curious where we're at, so we can see what people know, what people don't know. Have you watched The Crash, the documentary? Okay, so far we've gotten 250 votes in just a couple seconds. 53%. 51% have watched it now. Okay. So we're about half and half. Okay. But that shows you how cultural these documentaries are. Like Netflix controls everything. Like, dude, Netflix is like getting your doc on Netflix is like the epic. You know, I feel like no matter where the Turtleboy doc goes, you know, people are going to watch it no matter what. But Netflix is definitely like the premier one, you know. And the Turtleboy doc is coming. Believe it or not, it's going to come. I just hope it gets here before the trial, if the trial happens, because I want the world to know, you know. All right, cool. All right, so let's just jump. Let me just refresh it one more time, make sure I'm not missing anyone. I will take periodic turtle chat breaks, but I do got a lot of stuff to get through here. And again, I got the Cash App $sign Uncle Turtleboy. Don't want to miss anyone if anyone did that. Do we got anyone here? Yeah, we got Callie. Just sends $20 and says, "Happy Friday." Thank you very much, Callie. I appreciate that greatly. And also members here, we got NH Woman, Heart. That's how she, I think you get one of those a month. You get, if you're a member, you get to have one of those like big green ones. So that's how she spent hers. Great to see it. Love it. And we got Carla Peaches says, "New to me, and I live 20 minutes from Strongville. They didn't really live stream it. Rich preppy town." It's a rich preppy town, huh? So it's a suburb of Cleveland. It's like probably looks like it's like 30 minutes, if that, to the southwest of Cleveland. And it town of about 45,000 people. John D. Rockefeller grew up there, apparently. The rich guy, like the mega rich guy. Joe Hayden lived there. I looked up Strongville. I learned a little bit Strongville, but anyway, Mackenzie Shirilla is probably the most famous person to come out of there now, but and not for good reason. So if you guys are unfamiliar with who this person is, okay, I'll give you a little background on this. So she was a 13-year-old girl when she started dating her boyfriend, Dom, who was 16, a little bit older. And Dominic Russo, they had a tumultuous relationship up until she was 17. That's when he died. He was 20. She was 17. She was still in high school. She moved in with him. Okay. And things got rocky. Like, it was an ugly relationship. They valued like flashy things. You're going to see there's a lot of like pictures of her with, stacks of cash, right? And luxury, fine designer clothing and all that shit. And she was apparently what kind of parents let your 17-year-old move in with their 20-year-old boyfriend? Who allows that? Like, that's crazy. But also, if you've watched Annie Elise's street, she did 2 videos on these recently, and she knows more about this case than anyone. And she's like, she's pretty convinced, and I agree with her, that they sold drugs. Okay, let's keep it a buck. I mean, I don't want to tarnish the dead here, but you don't afford the things that they afforded and flash the kind of money that they were flashing at that age if you weren't selling something of value. I mean, I don't know how she wasn't working at Cinnabon, I'll tell you that much. So, and she was also on OnlyFans. And as Annie Elise had in her, I'm going to play a clip here for you. She's reading some of their texts. Not OnlyFans, but she sold feet picture stuff. Just listen to this.
This was a point of contention in her and Dom's relationship. Here's some text messages I'm going to read to you. This one's from January 25th, 2022. So, 6 months before the crash. Mackenzie wrote to Dom, "You realize I'm just going to get a sugar daddy and start selling feet pics, and I'm going to be doing just fine. So this is really your last chance to handwrite me an apology or fix this, or we're really done." Then in another text thread on March 5th, 2022, Dom wrote to her, "Yeah, you let a dude fuck your feet for money like 6 months ago." Mackenzie replied, "We were broken up." Mackenzie added, "We were broken up and it was feet. LMAO. Once again, then leave." He's pissed because I don't want to get too graphic here, but let a guy have sex with her feet. You can
pick
illustrate
up on
that in your mind, how it works. I remember when I was in high school, it was called like titty fucking. That's what people did, but apparently feet fucking is now something. But she's like, well, yeah, we were broken up and it was feet. So who cares? And if you have a problem, leave. That's what she's saying. Then they continued to argue about it well into June. On June 8th, 2022, Dom wrote, yeah, I love you, but last time you started hanging out with her, you literally let her sell your body to that random dude. Dom added, and she hooked you up with the dude. Mackenzie replied, we were broken up and it was my feet. Do you think about it more than I think about it? Dom wrote, you ran off and became a prostitute.
Oh.
Mackenzie replied, because I personally don't think it's bad, but if you do and we are together, then I won't do it. Dom wrote, you could never tell your family you were a pro. Mackenzie replied, because it's only my business and it's not soliciting or, the P word, prostitute, whatever. So clearly he didn't like what she was doing in the many cycles in which they were broken up, and she would then get money from from other men instead of him, because he was the one who was bankrolling her life for the most part. But during the breakup cycles, she would sell photos, images, or apparently hook up with men, allegedly, for money. Then on June 5th, there was another message where Dom wrote her and said, Kenzie, there is always going to be problems if you're hanging out with someone who got a dude to fuck your feet for money. So this was a problem all the way up until a month before the crash, something that they fought about regularly. And again, if you see all of her social media activity, she lived on portraying herself with this lifestyle, these designer goods.
Yeah. So her TikTok was just, which is no longer up, we'll see some of it. We're just filled with her just flashing shit. All like, that's what mattered to her. She thought she was like a superstar, right? And Dominic was, he seemed like a nice kid, but definitely something was going on there. I mean, and they were breaking up all the time, and she was volatile, and she was always threatening him, as you're gonna see. It was an abusive
hair and makeup perfect, sexy poses, all of these things. That's what it seemed, and ripping bong hits, like that's what she prioritized. Now, this is just my personal thing that I noticed when watching the footage, and I've been saying this for years. In the footage of the crash itself. And it's very difficult to tell because it is dark, obviously, and there's certain flashes and lights that are used that show things, and we know light bounces off of windows and all things like that. To me, and this is just my opinion, you guys watch the footage yourself, if you want to rewatch it, it's horrific to watch, but to me, it looks like when she is taking that corner very slowly, in control, before then gunning it, it appears that Dom is in the passenger seat and that he's on his phone, because I think what I believe I see is the light from his phone facing upward. It's a bright screen. It's a completely dark car, but then a bright screen in his hands. I would argue that they were arguing about something. She was pissed he was on his phone. She was asking who he was talking to or something. And because she was totally in control around the corner as that happened. And then from there is when she guns it, goes, doesn't hit the brake, and hits the wall. And like we have heard from so many friends, so many accounts in the past, she consistently drove recklessly. She would always go over 90 miles per hour, even bragging about it and documenting it on her Snapchat. And she would regularly, not regularly, but she oftentimes threatened to crash the car with Dom inside of it. So if there is still any room for doubt of whether this was intentional or not, I hope I just kind of closed the loop on that. And the majority of what I've been seeing out there from people who have either followed the case or watched the documentary, most people believe that she is guilty through and through, and that her parents are obviously just as bad and they enable her. And hello, her dad, her dad said she did it according to the police report. So I don't think that she has a shot with an appeal, but I've seen crazier things. Cough, cough, Casey Anthony. I think for her though, she'll never admit to anything. Even if she's not going to, even if the appeal doesn't get approved, and it's like, okay, now you can tell the
truth. So I'll show you a brief little TikTok here of what her TikTok was like. I mean, there's just, if you search her name on shit, it's like everywhere. It's like no volume here, but this was a look at what her TikTok was like, I believe. I mean, it's just constantly like this. Constant. I mean, she definitely had an eating disorder too. Like her friend, Faith with a Y, the ginger that was on there on the documentary, she said that Kenzie wouldn't even eat a McChicken from McDonald's. That's what she said, something like that. And it's like, yeah, because she has an eating disorder. Like she is unhealthy, like skinny to the point where it's like, see a doctor. You have serious issues. And all the girls are coming forward. Let me look at this shit. This is a 17-year-old. This is her life. Look at those. Imagine your kids acting like this. Oh my God. So I have no volume on this because I don't want to get struck by, this is on TikTok. Everything works on TikTok, and YouTube, it doesn't work the way you'll get demonetized. So, I mean, look at her. You know, a lot of girls are coming forward now from her school saying she was the bully. She was the mean girl. She wanted to be Regina George. Like, she watched that, you know, she watched that movie and it's like, oh, the Regina George is the good guy, actually. Yeah, so she's not like out to dinner edition. Like, look at this shit. Okay. So anyway, wait, she thinks she Ariana Grande? Give me a break. All right. Anyway, so that's a little background on who they are. So their relationship was what I would call toxic. All right. And a couple weeks before the crash, which happened on the morning of January 31st, 2022, she was living with him and he didn't want her there anymore. So there was one incident on the highway in which Dominic called. Let me pull this up. I have the court docs here. So first of all right, so this is from her trial. So it says here, Christopher Martin testified that he is 42 years old and a friend of Dominic Russo's family. Martin testified about an incident that occurred in July 2022 before the crash. On a day that July, Martin was sitting with Dominic's mother, Christine Russo, when Dominic called Christine. Dominic seemed upset. Christine grew upset. And Martin agreed to drive to go get him out of the situation that could have been a bad situation. Martin called. So Martin's like the family friend of Dom's mother. And Martin called Dominic on the way in order to obtain his exact location and ultimately locate the vehicle which Shirilla was driving and in which Dominic was a passenger on the shoulder of I-71. Martin was on the phone with Dominic at the time as both cars were pulling over. Martin heard Dominic and Shirilla arguing. During the course of the argument, Shirilla said, "I'm going to wreck this car right now." He heard, so you have an eyewitness who testifies that he heard Mackenzie Shirilla, threaten to crash the car that she was driving with him 2 weeks prior to crashing a car with Dominic in the passenger seat that kills him 2 weeks before. Dominic moved to exit the vehicle when it came to a stop. Martin testified that he saw a tussle inside the car with Shirilla swinging her hands at him. Dominic exited Shirilla's car, entered Martin's car, and Martin drove Dominic back to the Russo home. Dominic was upset. On cross-examination, Martin admitted that Christine Russo owns two houses next door to each other. Christine lives in one house with her two of her sons. In July of 2022, Dominic was living in the other house with Shirilla. Martin further admitted that he didn't report the incident to the highway police. According to Christine, Dominic and Shirilla had met in high school and were dating approximately 4 years at the time of the crash. Christine considered Shirilla to be part of the family, and they spent a lot of time together. She moved in with Dominic in December of 21 or January of 22. In the 6 months before the crash, she observed the relationship between Dominic and Shirilla became strained. She observed fighting, arguments, disagreements, breakups, and threats. She reported that Shirilla became more possessive of Dominic. And so this is after he dies. Okay. All right. So anyway, so this is all before, doing all the before the crash stuff now, seeing how volatile this relationship was. And so that's pretty strong testimony. Now, she claims that she produced a text message in her defense from between her and Dominic's mother, I believe, in which she says Dominic was doing something with the wheel. I forgot what she said, but it was actual document. It was evidence. It was definitely evidence. And she uses this in her appeal, and she says Dominic was the one that was, threatening to hurt me. Dominic's the bad guy. He's the, and it's in a text message. But this came after that incident. And so to me, and it's funny because I'll tell you why that doesn't mean shit to me. That means nothing to me. And I'm going to show you text why. Okay. As you guys know, I was in somewhat of a volatile relationship not too long ago. It's been well documented. And there was an incident on March 5th, 2025, at my ex-girlfriend's apartment. And she said that she was going to call the police and tell her that I hit her. And then she later claimed that she only did that to get me to stop filming. And she said that at about 3:50 a.m. after waking me up in the middle of the night. But here's a text message that was sent after 3:50 at about 4 a.m. in a group chat with me, her, and the ex, and my friend Deanna, our mutual friend Deanna, who was really, honestly, she was one of the bridesmaids in Deanna's wedding. It's pretty fucking close. And so this is me texting at 3:52 a.m. I didn't know I didn't know who to call. No one was up. It was 3:52 in the morning and I'm stuck and I don't know who else to call. And so I'm like, well, why don't I just message our mutual friend Deanna? And I messaged in the group chat and I said, are you awake? And she responds, Meredith responds and says, he's drunk. And yes, he did hit me, but I won't tell police that. He's insane. Okay. So I didn't hit her. She admits I didn't hit her. None of this ever happened. And what is my point here? My point here is when I saw the text message that Mackenzie Shirilla produced afterwards, after she had gotten caught, after a witness heard her say, I'm going to crash this car. After that, she knew she was in trouble after that. So she had to blame him. This is what abusers do. When they get caught abusing, then they blame the victim. Okay. And that's what Mackenzie Shirilla did with Dominic. He got caught. He felt unsafe. He felt unsafe in that situation. And so he contacted family because he didn't know who else to contact. And they came and they extricated him from the situation. And then afterwards, she feels stupid, right? She feels stupid. So Mackenzie sends a text to his mother saying, oh, actually, he was the one doing the threats. He was the one doing it because she's documenting it. That's why she did it. And that's what this is right here. I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Because this is like, it already happened at this point. And now she's trying to document it later on. That's all this is. And so that was the first thing I thought of. To me, that means shit. This whole Mackenzie Shirilla thing, I'm like, oh, I've been down this road before. Luckily, I survived. But luckily, we'll see. Anyway, a couple weeks before the incident, there was, as I said, they were living together. And here is audio from around that time of a time when she wanted to get into his house and he didn't want to let her. He wanted to break up with her.
You lied and said you would never lock me out of the house again. That is why we got back together last time we broke up.
You broke up with me earlier.
Because you were a little weak.
You broke up with me earlier. You broke up with me earlier.
This is your last chance to open the door, or you are not coming out of this house all night, because I will not leave.
Why would I just let you in the house? You broke up with me. You're threatening to break my...
No.
You're threatening to key my car.
You threaten to end my life all bye. He wrote that in a text. It's okay. All I care about is you trying to end my life and put it in your hand on the steering wheel and trying to end it. On the night of January I apologize, July 30th. They go to some person's party, and then they go to another party at a guy named Paul's house. And they were big into mushrooms for whatever reason, but she didn't get drunk that night. I think they were smoking pot, and it was her, Dominic, and this new friend, 𝗵𝗴𝗲. 𝗵𝗴𝗲 was the star of the football team at Strongsville High School. He was one of three siblings who was adopted by a really nice family, it seems like, in Strongsville. Really well-liked member of the community, okay? And he was friends with Dom. And so he was just getting a ride back with them, basically, on that night. And so they leave. They go to this person, Paul's. I'll bring up the court docs. Let's pull this up because the court docs explain it all pretty good. So I don't. All right. I kind of want to start from the top here so we have this all right. So this is from her appeal of her conviction. Because spoiler alert, she gets convicted. 12-count indictment. She waived the right to a trial by jury, which probably was advice of counsel because he's probably like, no one's going to like you. You're like the least likable person. A jury's going to convict. There's no way a jury's going to acquit you. You're like the least likable person ever. So Michael 𝗲𝗂𝗂 testified. He's the police officer from the Strongsville Police Department who first came across the crash. As we're going to see, the car was fucking destroyed. Dom was dead on the scene. 𝗵𝗴𝗲 Flanagan was actually alive, but died shortly thereafter. He said that her seat was reclined all the way. The third occupant was on top of Dominic. Jesus. 𝗲𝗂𝗂 believed that all three occupants were dead at the time. However, he heard mumbling and determined the driver was still alive. One of the first things she said was, "How is 𝗵𝗴𝗲?" 𝗵𝗴𝗲 Flanagan died on the scene before the helicopter arrived to get them out of there. They went to the hospital where medical personnel had taken Shirilla. He learned that alcohol testing had been conducted, and she is not under the influence of alcohol at the time of the crash. He then returned to the scene to collect the evidence, and officers collected 8.1 grams of mushrooms, a digital scale, 2 cell phones, a bong, a bag of marijuana, a purse, and a Cadillac key fob. So if you have a scale on you, yeah, like you're selling drugs. Like you don't carry a scale around like that unless you're selling drugs. So yeah. On cross-examination, he admitted that Progress Drive is a cut-through street with a speed limit of 35 miles an hour. And I guess it could be. I've looked at that a number of times. It could be a cut-through street for sure. I thought it wasn't, but it could be. Brett Robinson testified he's employed as a patrol officer with the Strongsville Police Department, and he's driven the area through the crash hundreds of times. He described the area as a commercial area and described the routes as follows. It's concrete paved road. It's one of our older paved roads in the city. I would say it's got some wear and tear to it. You could tell there are certain sections of the concrete that are raised, so it's a little bit difficult driving. I would say like the speed limit down the road. You can feel the bumps you're driving on your cruiser. When you drive on a Progress from Pearl Road, it goes from east to west. There's a series of curves you will experience in the roadway. Once you get to the end, it's a T intersection. Robinson responded to the crash scene. The prosecution played recordings captured on camera inside his patrol car, facing out through the front and rear windshields. The camera recorded him driving at a maximum speed of 54 miles an hour, and he stated that he felt this was as fast as he could safely drive on the road. It is a rough road, so even at that speed, he had to hold onto the steering wheel to make sure that I was in control, 54 miles an hour. Robinson assisted with breaking the windows and cutting the airbags and crashed the vehicles. Russo and Flanagan appeared to be deceased at the scene. She was stuck underneath the dashboard, facing down in her lap. Oof. She was unresponsive when he arrived, and they got them out of there. As paramedics began asking her questions, Shirilla gave delayed verbal responses back to them. She was confused, but alert. She was not oriented to event or place. Stanislaus said that she was confused as to what the events were, but her pulse, motor, and sensation was normal. She had ruled out a stroke, seizure, or significant neurological. A stroke or seizure ruled out. Important. She had several broken bones and her blood pressure was elevated on scene. Her blood oxygen level was 82, when a normal level is 95 or above. During the medical assessment, he found a baggie in her shirt with mushrooms and a case. He handed those items over to police. On cross-examination, he admitted the person could have a seizure before medical personnel arrived, and there would be no signs of it during the medical evaluation. So the defense is pushing that maybe she had a seizure. His assessment of Shirilla was limited to his observations at the moment that she was in the ambulance. He further admitted that a blood oxygen level of 82 is extremely low. Normally a level that low indicates a person just went into cardiac arrest or came out of cardiac arrest. Okay. She didn't know what happened. She was in pain, broken bones, blah, blah, blah. Steve Vanek testified he's employed as a police detective and was assigned to the case. The car crashed into a brick wall of a manufacturing company. He spoke with the president that operated the facility and took photographs of the scene. Okay. So let me show you here. Let's watch video of the crash, shall we?
Mackenzie was driving, Davion Flanagan was in the back seat, and Dominic Russo was in the passenger seat. She uses her blinker. She slows before the turn.
See how that's what Annie Elise was talking about right there. Notice what's in the front seat. How it's like illuminated there. She thinks he's got his phone open, and she thinks that upset Mackenzie for whatever reason. But the turn is, this is the turn onto the street. It's a little less than half a mile long, and it's straight, and then it curves like an S and then goes back in. So it's not like completely straight. But as you're going to see here, like this is a controlled turn. Like there's nothing erratic about her driving at this point. Does she use her blinker?
There's a car that smashed up against the building. She smashed the sign and hit the building. The car's crashed.
The car's split in two. Radio, there's an occupant inside. Send us a squad now.
Nothing prepares you for what you see on that body cam.
We gotta bust the window out. Send us some more units.
Any more units of progress in Alameda?
Now!
31, one up.
This is not a fresh accident either. She's been here for a while. Radio, we got at least 2 occupants in here. No one's moving. Oh my God. Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants. No one's conscious. No one's breathing. Bust that window out.
This is what the first responders found. I mean, how the you survived this? Driving 100 miles an hour. There's no way she wasn't trying to kill herself. No way. This is some crazy, like, crazy girl shit. She's like, fuck it. If I can't have you, no one can. We're going out together. And Davion was described by the prosecutor as cargo. That's the way she treated him. Come along for the ride. Fuck him too. You know? But Dom's side was more fucked up. It didn't hit dead on. Like the passenger side hit more on. And like I said, you could kind of see in that body cam footage there, Davion was lying on top of him.
This is bad, guys. She's alive. We got to get her out somehow. Trying to get her out. Oh, dude, I don't know if we can. Driver, 17-year-old female, still breathing, wedged in there. I'll cut you loose.
Like, there's no way she could have known she was going to survive. Like, there's no way she's like, oh, if I turn it and I make sure the first of all, to have the precision to make sure that the passenger side gets hit harder than the driver's side. No, there's no way she could have planned that. This was a suicide mission. This is some 9/11 shit. This is some hijackers getting on a plane and flying fucking building shit. This is not something you expect to survive. You'll never convince me that she expected to survive this. What happened? Did we lose the stream? Did we lose the stream? God damn it. God damn. All right. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, all right. We'll end this one. We'll start a new one.